Coming up tonight, Dave Luza plays with puppets. I tried not to mention Kingdom Builder, and Gary tells us we suck.
Welcome to Game All Nite.
This week I'm joined by Dave Luza, the Happy Luza. We learn the origins of that name, but before we get started, I can't not help but mention the shelfie we're sitting back here. This is Good Enough Party shelfie, and I love this shelf right here. Dave, this is for you, buddy. That's why I saved this one just for that episode. So let's get on with the show. Well, hello and welcome to Game All Nite. Tonight I'm joined by Dave Luza, the Happy Luza. He's been around. You've seen him. Board Game Breakfast. This Game is Broken most recently. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Excellent. Now, he's coming to us live from Dusseldorf, Germany. So this is mid-afternoon for me, and he's wrapping up his day over there. Is that correct?
Yes, that's very correct. Yeah. The day's over and it's time to do board game related stuff. Finally.
I have a feeling that takes up a large chunk of your free time, just judging by the amount of stuff that you're putting out these days.
Yes, it's true. Although I feel like I'm not putting out anything. I'm just preparing stuff.
So is there anything you're preparing that might be coming up that we should look forward to?
Yes, there is something, but I don't want to spoil the special announcement. Let's make that as something that we'll do later. But of course, we've got This Game is Broken, which is just going great. We're having so much fun, and we're amping up to a great year. We're gonna meet for the first time with everyone. We're gonna meet up at Dice Tower Con in Orlando in July. So that is going to be magical, I think. Probably I don't like the Brothers Murph. That's very well possible.
Well, I mean, I think it very well could happen, you know. But I mean, you have to see what goes on with these guys. So Dice Tower,
yeah, I mean,
so you're actually coming. You're coming
much
back over.
Going on in their head at all. I am going to Dice Tower Con. Yes, I am. Yeah,
that's outstanding.
Everyone keeps saying it's the best con out there. So,
well, I mean, I don't know if it's the best, but I definitely think you'll play a lot of games. There's a lot of personalities. I think it'll be a very good time.
Yeah, it's so much different than the cons that I go to. Where are you going to? What is your favorite con, Chris?
Well, so I don't have too many, and this year, when I planned vacation, I had not even thought of doing the channel yet. So I'm just doing Origins and then PAX U because that's my local right next door con. So we'll see what happens. Sure. I don't know. Maybe I can sneak away for Dice Tower Con and get down there, but because it sounds like it would be awesome to meet everybody.
Yeah, it would be awesome, and we met, right? We have met at Gen Con, kind of.
I don't know if we call that meeting. That was a very much a hit and run. So Dave pulls up. You pulled up on a bike because you were the smart one and took a bike. You rented a bike to get to the Secret Cabal meetup, which was about it was a good mile away from the convention center, and you showed up and the line was just moving, so I didn't want to lose my place. So I just ran over, tagged, said thank you, you're awesome, and then ran back into line. And that was the last I saw of you. I don't know if you didn't find bike parking or not.
Next to our the hotel, the Hyatt, we were staying in the Hyatt Regency. There was rent a bike, and I thought, well, sure, I love riding a bike. I really love riding bikes in cities I don't know. And riding a bike in Indianapolis was a great idea. So I did. I was riding and everyone's waving, hey, Dave, hey, well, the Happy Luza, there he goes. And then I came up to that place where the meetup was, and the line was very long. So I was even happy to have a bike to just drive around the block to go to the end of the line. And people were stopping me, and I had I brought a lot of Dutch treats, the stroopwafel. I brought I don't know how many kilos I brought, but my bag was completely filled up with stroopwafels. So I thought, well, where should I leave them? I handed them out to the people waiting in line, and that was a lot of fun. And you were one of them.
Yep, I got one of the first ones. I didn't realize I'd had them before. They're quite tasty, and I cure what? You're supposed to put them on top of a cup of coffee to warm them up and soften them a little bit, and they get like all nice and gooey, and they're so good.
It's
so
great.
Good.
If you get them fresh, they're even better. To finish this story with my bike, because I thought I rented the bike, and you can drop those bikes off at certain points, but the closest one to the Secret Cabal meetup, the closest rent-a-bike was back at the hotel where I picked up the bikes. So that's what I did. I went back there and put the bike there and did not go to inside.
Well, I don't know if you would have made it. That place was insane. I don't think but a couple hundred people actually made it inside that day, but it was a good night. Got to meet you at least. Got to say hi. I didn't even know you made it out to Gen Con, because I know that's quite the flight coming from Germany.
That's true. It was quite the flight, but was so excited to even go there and be a part of it. I was there as part of the Dice Tower team, and incredible to see that event is so huge. I am used to go to Essen, and Essen is big. For everyone says, yeah, it's the biggest one, but to me, Gen Con is so much bigger. There's so much going on. I mean, you've got the trade hall. Okay, I can see Essen being similar or maybe a bit bigger, but then on top of it, you've got the same space filled with tournaments. You've got the Lucas Oil Stadium filled with gaming tables and companies who are in different rooms. The side events, it's amazing. I had so much fun going there.
So, like, for me, I just went for one day. So my view of Gen Con is very small, and I admit that. So for me, it felt like it was a shopping trip, because I really got to do the dealer hall, and that was about it. I didn't get to do the side events. So that part to me felt like this might be what Essen's similar to, like, where it's a lot about the product in the game and the shopping, and not so much about the playing. But as soon as you started to go outside the hall, that's when you started to see a lot of the other stuff open up. So other than that, like, what are some of the huge differences between Essen and Gen Con? Because you can commute to Essen, correct?
Yes, it's very easy. It's like 15, 20 minutes in the car, and then I'm there, parking, and I'm inside. So that's great. But in Germany, all the booths are huge, because there are a lot of tables where you can try out the games. So there are people teaching the games, and then mostly you're trying out if you're going to buy the game. That's mostly it. So it's still buying, but you get a chance to see the game, see the components, and try it, and see how the mechanisms work. So you will know what to do with the game once you unwrap it at home.
So it's and you can play a little bit more of the game. It's not just like, here's a quarter of a turn, do a couple things that I preset, and that's it. You're actually like playing it, right?
Yes, you are able to just play the whole game if you want to. And people are running towards certain places where particular great games are being demoed, and you can play the whole game. It doesn't matter if it takes you 4 hours to learn the game. You can do that in Essen. But that's it.
So,
more places for gaming are not there. So there are no open gaming or stuff like that. Everyone goes back to their own hotel and plays the game on their hotel room, or maybe the hotel has got some special room. But it's all very small hotels. So yeah, if you want a game, don't go to Essen. If you want to buy, go to Essen.
So pack the extra suitcase is what I'm hearing on that one.
Oh,
because
you need
you
an
need.
extra suit. I mean, the amount of games that are new at Essen is just mind-blowing. I still have games that I haven't unwrapped from Essen. I will. I'm not someone who leaves games on shelves for a long time.
Oh, I talked about that last show. I really hate when you buy something and then it just sits and sits, and it's something you really want to play, but you just don't get it out. It's like that's so aggravating. Now, so what are some of the things that kind of brought you into the hobby? Like, I mean, you have a different point of view because you're from Europe, and the board game community is a little more active, and it's a little more ingrained in everyday life. It's like you don't have, like Monopoly and things like that. So, what was your kind of entry story into this craziness?
Well, everything you said was wrong. I would say there is no life or something. It is all just, I would assume like you think it is at your place. If you like board games, you're in the minority, so you need to look for it. And the internet is a huge help right there. I always loved playing games. I remember the first game I got was the Peking Mysteries. That was the game that my parents said, if you like board games, then just go to the store and buy your own board game. So I got this huge deduction. You needed to go to different people and find out who did it. Oh, very great game. I still own it. And from there on, I just went to college. I haven't played any board games in college. There was no time. There was no scene. There was nothing. And when I started working, that moment I picked up Settlers of Catan somewhere, and I loved it. And then I heard about a group. They were playing the game monthly, and I went there, and I had so much fun. And from that moment on, it just started rolling, and here we are.
Nice. So it looks like from your shelves that you definitely like puzzles and deduction. It seems to be kind of a theme back there. So, I mean, whatever drew you in is kind of what stuck. So that's pretty awesome. So it's not, we don't think that that's like the Garden of Eden just because you live in Germany where everybody is. And maybe Catan is a little bit more, Siedler von Catan, is a little more prevalent than it might be over here. But it's not the golden land of board games that we all think it is, right?
No, it's, exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
Day after day, millions of yellow meeples sit unused and unwanted in their box. These defenseless pieces haven't been given the chance of other popular colors like blue or red, so here they sit, unplayed, day after day, week after week, year after year. Throughout time, yellow has been labeled with terms like lemon or pea, hurting the delicate sensibilities of these meeples who didn't choose to be yellow, but were made that way. Who will be the voice for the unplayed colors? Will you? For a small donation of just $10 a month, we at GAN Charities will ensure that yellow sees just as much attention, love, and joy as the populars. We will endeavor to make sure that every pawn, meeple, and piece have a chance to win or lose as equals with the other colors. Don't let our pawn prejudice go any longer. Be the voice for the less played, less wanted, and less loved colors in all games.
You've been a gamer of one form or another your whole life, right? So you've done different things and played different games, and to the point where you kind of mentioned a story about meeting your wife on a night, and you had to excuse yourself just to continue to play games, yet she hung out anyway. So what was that about?
Oh, yes. So my job is, as you might know, I'm a performer. I make comedy shows in the Netherlands. I improvise them. That's what I do. And there was a night we had a show, and a friend of mine, actually my boss, he invited a colleague of his from Germany, and he brought us together. And in that moment, she had enjoyed our show, didn't understand it because it was in Dutch, but she understood what was going on. And at some point, it was a beautiful night. It really was a beautiful night. And at some point, I was sharing my coat with her. I said, "Oh, no, sure." And then at some point, I got beeped. I had a beeper at that time. And so I looked at the numbers. Oh, no, my kingdom is under attack. I was playing a online word-based game or text-based game. Was it Utopia? And I was the king at that moment. And it was a huge deal. So I'm sorry, I need to get to a phone. I need to give out orders to everyone. And she didn't understand. Of course, she couldn't understand. But then half an hour later, I went back to her, and she was still sitting there in my coat. And I think she was intrigued by it. And that's how we got it all started. She knew about it from the very get-go. She knew what she was getting into.
Now, is she the reason you moved to Germany in the end?
Yes, it is. And she does the same as I do. She's a performer as well, but she works mostly in the south of Germany. And I work in the Netherlands, and Düsseldorf is kind of my part of the middle. She still has a longer trip when she goes down to Tübingen, where she works a lot.
Gotcha. So
and we have a son together comedy now. So.
Oh, excellent. So you guys do comedy together? Or, I mean, I saw your act on the Dice Tower when they came over to, I guess that was in the Essen Spiel, where you guys put on the quick impromptu, and that was pretty cool to watch. So that's just everyday life for you, I guess.
Yes, we play shows together. We can do shows in English. We can do shows in Dutch or in German. We once did a show where we did all the languages together and really made a brilliant mashup for everyone who was just from around here, and everyone was in on it. We do play together. It's amazing to be able to do that.
It is. It's I work in restaurants, so my wife is, while she can cook, it's not everything in her life. So she doesn't, we don't share that together. She just kind of reaps the benefit. So it's really cool when you can kind of share what you love and what you do on a daily basis together like that. So, yeah. So what advice would you go back and give like the younger you about where you are right now in life? Like if you could go back, let's just say 20 years, let's say like late 90s, like what piece of advice would you give yourself?
Wow, I would say choose the games you play wisely. Don't spend too much time on. Well, it sounds like a normal idea, but I loved going to casinos, and I don't do that anymore because that was not wise to do that. I used to play World of Warcraft, which took up so much of my time. So I'm so happy that I was able to just say no. And
I can appreciate the casino comment, because where I live, I'm only about 2 hours away from Atlantic City, which at the time you had Las Vegas and Atlantic City, and that was it. And, when I found myself going down alone in the middle of the night just to kind of kill some time, I'm like, okay, I need to stop this. This is not exactly healthy behavior. So, and it's the reason why, like, I didn't pick up World of Warcraft or anything, because I know those things just will, you want to level up, right?
Oh, man. It was amazing. I was so into it. I showed people it, and I went, look, you can go fishing in a game. You can go fishing, and everything you can do in real life, you can do there. And then everyone, of course, said, yes, but you already did those things in real life. Why would you want to do that there? But of course, I really loved it. And I actually was one of the first people who received the World of Warcraft board game, which was a huge game. It was massive, and it took like 14 hours to play, and I played it twice and have not finished it twice. So.
Oh man, but I can feel for you, Dave, on the World of Warcraft. I got lucky though, because in my situation, I like started going down that path of it going really, really bad. But what ended up happening for me was that literally in the first month, I think like in the first week alone, I think I put something crazy like 70 hours into it or something like that. And then literally my computer caught on fire. Like literally smoke coming out of the computer. So after that happened, I then went on like a little weaning, like I couldn't play it anymore, of course, because my computer was on fire. So what ended up happening was that then it was like 2 months later when I finally got my computer back, I was like, I would play World of Warcraft, but like I'm kind of not addicted to it anymore, and my free subscription just went up. So yeah. I think I'm good here. Well, I got lucky there. But
well,
it's
in Gary's defense, it was probably overclocked and air cooled. So I mean, we're
Oh no, I wish.
Yeah, well,
this was back in the day when my computers were I just got like scraps of stuff and then just like threw something together and pray that it worked. But yeah, that's changed.
Well, actually, I mean, playing computer games got me into making videos for the Dice Tower. I started Board Game Breakfast. At some point 2 years ago, I was thinking, what would I want to do? I could pick up a new computer game and spend my time doing that. Or I can start making segments for the Dice Tower. And I'm very happy that I chose to start making segments for the Dice Tower. But that was the decision.
Definitely.
Am I going to play computer game or I'm going to make something creative, which of course I'm so happy that prevailed.
Well, it definitely opened up some doors, and you're kind of a household name. My wife doesn't consume a lot of board game media. She gets a lot of it when I put on YouTube in the evening and I watch a couple shows. But she knew exactly who you are when I said, I'm going to be going downstairs. He's like, oh, is he the guy who sings all the time? And I'm like, yep, that's definitely you. So what was the first segment you made for the breakfast?
Well, I just had the idea. I sent an email to Tom. I said, I have an idea for a segment. It's something I look at the news and I see what game comes to mind. And at that moment, we had the Republicans were looking for which candidate to go with. And I made a King of Tokyo version with the different candidates to see who would be it. And he said, I love it. Never do politics again. But you're in. So that was my very first segment, but it never aired.
Right. And I think you did, I remember Brexit. I remember that was one of the early ones. You kind of mentioned that.
That was the first time I went to the UK Games Expo. And then at that moment, I could cover that. Going to there, that was my news, going to England, and then cover the Brexit, because the vote was, I think, 2 weeks away at that point.
So sometimes it feels like it's a little bit of a stretch to match a game with the news. What has probably been the hardest one to kind of make that leap from?
Well, first off, it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, it's just I like to talk about board games, and I try to of course I really try to find something. Sometimes it's really easy. There was something. In Germany they started. The government told their citizens, and this is 9 months ago, I think. They said to their citizens, please stock up on food, on water, on those basic necessities, because you never know what's going to happen, which was so weird. And it felt so Cold War-ish.
It's a little ominous.
It was totally ominous. And it was in the newspapers. And everyone also, they just did it. Of course, yeah, well, if the government says so. And so sometimes it feels very, very good to just find a game that fits that theme. Like I did, I think, Twilight Struggle for that one. And so sometimes it's very easy. Sometimes I think of a specific game that I want to cover. like a couple of weeks ago, I had an escape game that they sent to me, and of course it was a demo copy of the game, and I wanted to. I loved the game, so I wanted to put that in, and then I did a segment about escaping a cave that collapses, because that was indeed a news item at that point. I mean, it was just a small news item, but I made it into an escape room hookup. It's creative, I know.
Well, I think,
but still,
I think it's important because, you know, a lot of you know, and I certainly don't speak for all the Americans, but I will say that a lot of us are very focused on what happens here. So we don't really, you know, take into account what's happening elsewhere. So when you come on with something and it's from somewhere else and it's not like just a major tragedy, it's definitely interesting because it's things we don't necessarily understand how government works in different places. So that's not, it's not altogether horrible.
To get away from tragedy. I don't want to do mass shootings and people dying. And
oh, no.
Yeah, and there's a board game about that. Yeah, I try to to keep it positive and yeah.
And I think, you know, I'm one of those people who, you know, the Academy Awards doesn't really ring for me because I go to movies to get away from all the reality. I don't want to feel more realistic than I need to. And I think board games do the same thing. So if it gets too close, I think that's going to alienate people, right? It's just going to make them kind of feel like, you know, oh, well, now I can't do this because it reminds me of that. And, you know, I think publishers are pretty good, with few exceptions, is making, you know, kind of making them immersive experiences that are also escapist a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So if we have all this stuff and, you know, you're doing these segments, where did the singing in the segments come from? Because you do the improv, and in our experience, a lot of that is spoken word. We're not necessarily thinking song improv here. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, we got this guy running around singing on Board Game Breakfast. So what made you go, the news isn't enough, I need to do something a little different?
I always thought about making songs about board games. Just it's something that happened. And then in the news was there was Monopoly the musical. I don't know if it ever made it or if it's still in production. I don't know. But it was a thing. It was a news item. Everyone was talking about it. So I thought, hey, let's take that as a hook and try to make my own musical of a board game. And then I had Mice and Mystics. It was the first one. I went to a friend of mine and said, I have this crazy idea. I want to make a mini musical about Mice and Mystics. I wrote this the text. I went to him, and in an hour we had 4 different songs that fitted. I went back home. I started copy pasting my own voice over it, and then I started acting it out. And I had the prologue of Mice and Mystics as a mini musical, and people, of course, people loved seeing that and said it was amazing. And then there was the summer break. And while I was on holiday, I did a lot of running at that point. And every time I thought, oh, I could do this song and I can do that song and then I can make that. And then I just started. I sent Z Garcia an email and said, I think it's something for Board Game Blender if I just sing a song. And he said, well, yeah, sure. And did not know where it would lead. And I've made a lot of songs since then, and they're all original songs. I haven't done parodies yet, although now I'm starting to think that parodies are way easier to do because everyone already knows, oh yeah, this is this song, and oh yeah, this is smart, and so maybe I'll start doing parodies as well. But until now, everything I've done is original. Yeah.
It's funny because I just had Chaz Marler on last week, and we were talking a little bit about Weird Al and the fact that he does parodies. And I think when you have a parody, you now have the opportunity to both make a play on a song, but also to make a play on the original song and how it relates. So I think that, you know, I think you can be funny on a couple different levels with a parody. But the fact that they're all original is kind of amazing because I'm sorry, you mentioned that you get ideas when you're running. So that's a problem for me because I get ideas when I'm doing those, like I'm driving or, you're doing all that left brain activity, right? And your creative brain is just kind of running. And I have a hard time getting those ideas out and down on paper. And I might even have like thought through a perfect segment. And then when I get to paper, I'm like, I forget everything. What's your best way to capture that stuff? Because obviously it makes the cut.
Well, the fun thing is that all the ideas I have while I'm running, they are somewhere. I don't know where they are. But when I make something for Board Game Blender, these episodes all have a theme. So then I have a theme, and I think, okay, just like playing the news, how do I get from a theme to a board game song? And then I start thinking about it. And I mean, I've made them back to back, and that means every 2 weeks have a new song. And that is, I don't know how I did it because right now I'm kind of stuck on making other stuff. I'm not able to make something else. Although I just finished a song for the winner of the Jack Vessel Memorial Fund auction. I offered to make a song for someone, and that person just received their song. I haven't heard back yet. Maybe they hated it. I don't know. But that's the last song I made. Yeah, and so having a theme,
awesome. Just
being forced into a certain corner and just go creatively from that point out to, wherever it goes.
So, wow, that's amazing. And then on This Game is Broken, you guys get put on the spot a lot again. But I think that you seem to work best in that kind of environment, if I'm not mistaken. If you do like improv and you like these things, and then you're put on spot, and Ambi was put on spot with you a couple episodes ago. That was a lot of fun. How much fun was that on your end to try and come up with the different ideas for that?
It's amazing. Of course, if I would prepare stuff beforehand, then I would need to act that I'm thinking of them on the spot, which is way harder than just thinking of them on the top from the top of your head. So that's what I kind of aim for. If I do a show in the Netherlands, and my group is called Op Sterk Water. If you're ever in the Netherlands and want to see a comedy show, then please come by Op Sterk Water. And my colleagues and I, we always try to do the other thing. If there's a story that goes in a direction that we kind of already covered some shows back, then we go the other way. If the audience would like to see something that we've already done, we will switch roles and just make sure we're not doing something that might look like something that we've done before. If someone would make a joke twice, then we would say, hey, what was that? You did that joke already. Come on, bring us something new.
When I think of improv, really the only basis I have is whose line is it anyway? So to me, it's kind of an improv skit show almost. It's not, it's a bunch of little individual games and types. So like, what's your favorite method of gaining all the material for improv? Because it's not, there are many ways to get that. And, people yelling from the audience is fun, but that gets old after a while. So what do you like?
Well, I don't need it. We don't need the audience, but sometimes the audience wants proof that it is made up. I do a show in the Netherlands called Different, or in Dutch, Anders, where it's just me and my colleague Tim, and we improvise for an hour without anything. And we say at the beginning, just like TJ and Dave do, trust us, this is all made up. And then we start. we don't need anything. We just do it and see where it goes. But sometimes it's just for the audience to be proven that it is made up. They can say anything, and we will play that. We can do that. We can do everything.
So what's your favorite form of the actual skit? Like, what's the favorite one you like to do? The challenging one, Like, where do you have the most fun in that space?
I like to do the ones that get into your head and are just very difficult to perform. I don't know if we can say that, but the mind fucking ones, that really really do weird stuff. Doing scenes backwards, or there's this lovely way I love to do it. Someone from the outside tells us if we are playing the scene forwards or backwards. So we would do something. Buy something at the bakery, and then the person would say backwards, and we do the same thing but backwards until he says forwards again. So you're always thinking, not only where is this going, but what did I just do? So you're doing two things at the same time. Another one that I must say I love to do, and I'm quite good at, is the interview backwards, where you have the host and he knows stuff. And you will start at the end of the interview, say, thank you very much for coming. It was great. Thank you very much. And then you jump back to the person who just said his last, the last remarks about whatever. And then you go back to the beginning of the interview, and you start out and you end up with, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to have you here. This is my guest, which is incredible to do if it works, and it mostly works if you know how to think of. And of course, it's still very basic at the beginning, but there is this moment where you could just say, here's a tissue, which forces the other player to do something that would require a tissue. Sneeze, of course, that would be the easy one. But
maybe we should have talked about that before we started the show tonight, because that might have been an interesting way to come at this. So,
well, of course, and this is taped, so you could even do it backwards, and then afterwards put it back in the normal, in the way it should be, and kind of memento-like stuff. Great.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm thinking we might have to maybe ditch the game that I have planned and do that instead, because I have a feeling that might be a lot of fun.
It is, but it is really hard to do.
So, Dave, where does the name Happy Luza come from?
Oh, well, I was playing a tournament of, I think it was Settlers of Catan. I used to be a champion of a province of the Netherlands for Settlers of Catan. It was fun. But there was this huge tournament going on, and at some point they were announcing the quarterfinals, and I was in the quarterfinals stuff. And someone mentioned my name in English, and then for the first time I noticed, mostly they pointed out that Luza looks like loser on paper. And so they were making fun of it, and I just came up and talked to him, and I said, "Well, yeah, it's Luza, but I don't mind losing. I will still be happy if I lose." And then from that moment for the tournament, he kept calling me the Happy Luza.
Yeah, so the name stuck, and it's the Happy Luza ever since.
Hey, Dave, what you doing? Oh, you have company. Who's that guy? I don't know him. Who's that? Oh, but it's Gary. Hi, Gary. I like Gary. Hey, Gary, you late to the table again?
I'm sorry, this is not really a good time.
That's what my wife said.
What? You are married? You told me you were single.
I knew. Hey, Gary.
Wait, what?
Oh, no, baby, it's not what you think.
All men are pigs, except you, Gary.
That is unfair. I was only trying to be friendly.
You knew, and you still let me talk to him.
Oh, for goodness sake, shut up!
It's the Center for Disease Control.
Hello, Gary. Right. You know the drill, everyone. We've got 4 viruses causing us problems again. So go and do your thing.
Wheels up in an hour, people.
Oh, again? Why do we always have to save the world?
So playing the part of Bob will be Mandy?
Bob. Which Bob would you mean now?
Time Stories?
Tell me.
Angry Bob from Time Stories?
Oh, Angry Bob. Oh, no. She is the researcher. I am going to play through a campaign of Pandemic Legacy, Season 1. and I'm going to do that live. I'm going to have people join me while I'm playing Pandemic Legacy Season 1. Spoilers and everything. So for the people who already played through it, it shall be fun to see what I'm doing. And for the people who are not going to play it and are just very curious to see what it's all about, they'll be able to play with me as well. And after every playthrough of one game, I'm going to do a recap with those beautiful actors you just saw. I've got some very great people who are joining me for this project and lending me their face and their voice. And I'm going to do the puppets of them.
Nice. That definitely that looks like a lot of fun. I can't wait to see where that goes. And I like how Dan Hughes just had to sneak on the show before I actually had him as a guest.
Yeah,
he had to do it, didn't he?
I mean, yeah. Well, he didn't know. I just took the bits that he pre-recorded and I added it into this. Oh, that's not true. I asked him to make a nod to Gary there. But I've got Mandy Hutchinson participating. I have Christina Emerito from Girls Game Shelf. She's participating. I have lined up for the future Cardboard Rhino. She's participating as well. So I've got this great cast of people from all over the world doing this thing about saving the world, and I am enjoying making it. It takes me a lot of time to do it all. I mean, I first off, I had to do a lot of arts and crafts for it, but it's so much fun to do, and I'm starting to find out what editing is like for hours and hours.
Yes. I can Gary knows worse than me, but even just doing like I take on, if I have like little stupid ideas, I take it on and I let Gary push the big weight around. But I'm like, my goodness, it takes me 2 hours to do 30 seconds worth of video. It's ridiculous. So I can feel your pain. Now is there I'm assuming there has to be a theme song here. Like I can imagine like you and Matt Jude have to like get together and kind of make that happen, right? Like I mean, you kind of have it in there.
Something you would think. Well, we've got a slight problem in this whole process, and Matt is about to start his own campaign of Pandemic Legacy, and he doesn't want to be spoiled, of course, because that. So I cannot talk to him about it.
Well, I mean, in Matt's defense, I mean, it took him 2 years to find 3 friends. I mean, it's not very easy.
No, I don't think they're friends. Yeah.
Okay, maybe they're not friends. Maybe we're overselling it.
Craigslist? I don't know.
I'm seeking BGP board game players. You know, do they have that over there?
PL Season 1. I don't know.
I need to like superimpose like a fire going on, like a burn or something like that, and like the aftermath of this video.
It's the beginning. This is going to be the first. The episode will have. No, that's not true. This was just for you. I just made this for you. But I have. Every episode that I will be doing will have this little video previously on Pandemic Legacy, and then they act out what happens because I already played through the campaign. I know what's going to happen, and I'm already envisioning scenes that might happen, cities that would fall down, people will get, characters will die. I look forward to it. So we just don't know who it is.
So it's going to be. So if I get this right, this is going to be you and then 3 different guests most of the time, or is that what you're thinking?
No, it's gonna. I'm gonna play through the game. That's the meat of it. But before every game, I will have a recap of what has happened previously.
Okay.
If I have a city that is going down, you will see that in the previously on Pandemic Legacy. And have some scenes act out and try to put some humor in it as well and see where it goes. I'm not sure yet. I haven't done it. I just had the idea I bought another copy of Pandemic Legacy. I asked Matt Leacock about the art, if I could use the art in my previews. And he said no, he wanted me to have it, but he said no, it's not his. Z-Man,
nice, Matt,
or
nice.
Asmodee, or don't know. But he was great and answered me straight away, so that was fun. And then I thought, okay, how can I bring these characters to life? I started trying out some software where you can use your voice and have animated things, but it's just too expensive and too hard to find out.
Right.
And I have the animator of This Game Is Broken, Gary. He makes for me. He made the puppets, and he's helping me out big time. So thank you so much, Gary. He's doing great stuff, helping me out.
So you have a lackey named Gary too, then?
Yes. That's. I think that if you're born that way, then it's just how things go.
It's just
a
curse of the name.
Born Gary. Yeah. Well, you call it a curse, but I mean, it's your life. Is it a curse?
I guess it kind of is. I don't know. Just every Gary I know is a punchline.
I mean, Gary is a 4-letter word after all. I mean, well, nice. Dave, this has been awesome. We have groundbreaking news. So now you're going to have to play your own news on the next board game segment, I think. But that is that's pretty cool. I cannot wait to see, because I mean, if you're involved, the humor is definitely going to be right there, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. So awesome. Cool. So let's pause for a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back, and you and I are going to play a little game. How's that sound?
Great. I'm in.
All right. This week's media creator shout out goes out to the Dukes of Dice. Join Sean and Alex as they journey through the board game industry with a little bit of humor in there too. Check them out wherever fine podcasts are sold.
It's game time!
So tonight, Dave Luza and I are playing Codenames Duet. Now, we've kind of tried to rig this up, so let's see how it goes. Dave, are you ready to find the agents?
I'm very ready. Yes, bring it.
Excellent. I guess I should be looking down then, right? How's it going, Dave?
Yeah, probably.
Got my Brady Bunch moment.
Interesting.
All right, exactly. So there's a lot of staring, looking, and talking, and we are going to go through this. And all right, I believe I am ready. All right, Dave, your first clue is Water 3.
Water 3. Wow. That's very interesting.
Out of the gate.
Of course. Yeah, out of the gate. Water 3. Oh, I see 3 water. I'm not touching yet. I'm just talking my way through this. We have a paddle, which of course is a good thing. When you've got water, then you can paddle. We've got flood. I'm from the Netherlands. We are always afraid for the big flood. And once your country was flooded, you would end up with a swamp. So that's my basic thought right now. And so first off, we're going to do flood. Touching flood.
All right. Now, through the magic of television, Gary will let us know.
Guys, I do not know any of the words. So you guys say it if it's right or not.
Oh, okay. All right. So cut that out. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
3.
So you're touching flood. Flood is good. Yes.
Haha, of course. Then I am touching paddle.
Paddle is an innocent bystander.
Really? Why? Okay. Things happen. So let me note. Water 3. We had So,
And right
this
now,
is
Chris
not
is
it.
thinking Dave plays this on a completely different level if he's taking notes. Because I
Oh
don't.
yes, I am taking notes. Why would I not take notes? No. I don't want to constantly be looking at a paper or at the screen. And did you notice I haven't really watched on the screen at all during our recording because I put the screen there, so I thought it would look like I would look at you. That's what I thought when I set it up like this. That's what.
All right.
Okay,
That works.
I am taking notes, and I am gonna give you something. I always want to say 2 words, but I cannot. So I'm gonna do something weird. I'm gonna say Stylist 3.
Stylist 3. You're coming out of the gate swinging.
Yes.
Let's see. Stylus. I'm definitely thinking pad because an iPad could use a stylus. Computer could use a stylus. What else?
I want to make sure that
Could use this-
there's nothing lost in our translation here. I said stylist.
Stylist
stylus.
with a T.
Stylist.
Oh, that's
with
a
a
T.
T.
That's a little different. With a T. Thank you. All right. So now we're thinking maybe dress. Dan Hughes has been known to cut dress patterns in his spare time, from what I hear. Let's see. We have
Stylist of the
it could
stars.
be a nose
That's him.
style. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, exactly. It could be a nose stylist. I do hear that Rococo is his favorite game. So I'm definitely going to say dress. I will put my finger on dress.
And you would be correct to do so.
Excellent, excellent. Let's see. I also think a stylist could be, let's see, a drum, a letter. Could be a magazine. I think stylists have magazines in the lobby all the time. So I'm going to put my finger on magazine next.
And that is also a correct word. You are doing very good, sir.
Very well, very well. Let's see. So, let's see. 12 agents remain. I'm going to... I don't feel good about the third one. I have a couple thoughts. A stylist. Yeah. I mean, you could make a sack instead of a dress. So I'm gonna hold on to my last one, and I'm not gonna wildly guess either, even though the audience might go nuts with that. I don't do that because, especially with 3 assassins in a game. All right.
Yeah. No,
so
it's,
8 rounds. We got 8 rounds, and we have 12 left. All right. So you have some information already. So here is another one. Broadcast 2.
Ooh, broadcast. Well, of course, radio would broadcast. That would be something interesting. Yeah, a radio, I'm thinking. And I am also thinking about an anchor, because a news anchor would do some broadcasting. But first, I'm going to touch radio. Ugh, touching radio.
And that would be a very good choice, because that is definitely an agent.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okie dokie. And yeah, I'm going with an anchor and broadcast. Anchor.
That is an innocent bystander.
Okay, sure.
As we learned in the last game I played, I might not be the best clue giver.
Well, I mean, there's an ocean between us, so stuff
Fair
can get
enough.
lost.
I'll take that. All right. So I still have Stylist 1 out there. And your next clue, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to go for... Let me see if I'm not making any huge mistakes here. And I don't think I'm making a real big mistake. I'm going to say host 3. Host
Host
3.
3.
Yes.
Ooh. Well, Dan Hughes working his way into my show yet again. I can't believe they put him in Codenames Duet. I mean, that's just a whole nother level. Mr. Bean could be a host. I think he could be. Let's see. Anchor could be a host. He's hosting a new show. I'm going to start with Dan Hughes, and I'll put my finger
Why would
on that
Dan
one.
be a host? Why would Dan be a host?
Because he hosts This Game Is Broken.
What is that?
It's a great podcast brought to you by the fine folks at This Game Is Broken Media, a comedy podcast.
And of course, you're correct. You are correct.
Excellent.
Dan Hughes is an agent. He is an agent.
Well, should be other things, but okay. All right. Let's see, the next host. I like Mr. Bean, but I also like the anchor. So, but a computer could be a host because it could host a website. I'm gonna go with the anchor as the host.
Anchor is an agent. Well done.
All right. Excellent. So I have one more host, one more stylist. Potentially could be a nose stylist, could be a computer. Oh. No, I don't want to risk it. I think we're doing okay. We're doing 2 per round right now. So a little bit. I played safe. All right.
Okay.
So let's see. We on to round 7. We got 9 left. All right. All right. Make sure I'm not making any big mistakes. All right. All right. So we have atmospheric for 2.
Atmospheric for 2. Okay. I can see a comet being atmospheric. And wow. Radio would have been atmospheric as well, I would think. But I already have that one. Oh, by the way, I'm just noticing this. By putting it on the board like this with the word agent on it also means that some of the words we both have to guess. So this might not be a great setup to do it like that. I didn't notice it before, but it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter because you only work off of that screen, right?
Right. Well,
there are some
isn't
words
it only
that you
though
might. No,
but they just have to be covered, correct? Whether you cover them or I cover
Oh.
them is irrelevant.
Oh, is that true? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, then we're good. Then I don't know the rules as well as you do. Oh, so I don't have to. Okay.
Obviously, you did
Doesn't
not
matter.
see last week's show. But okay.
No, not till the end. Did you play this?
No,
Nah,
we
he's
didn't.
messing
We
with
just
you.
did
He's
not.
messing with you.
I know.
The number one reason last week that people said that they lost games was because I taught the rules wrong. So.
Oh yeah. I'm
Fair
touching
enough.
comet. Touching comet.
And that would be a good thing, even though I realize atmospheric a comet would not be, but it is correct. All right.
But you should not be able to say that. That is a hint right there. But
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
yeah, well, it doesn't matter. And
We're just making
Wow.
this up anyway. It's all right.
yes, we are. We are making this up. Okay. I'm still thinking of the water thing. I'm gonna say I'm gonna touch swamp just because I think it's one of the words that you want me to touch. Touching swamp.
Well, touching swamp is a good thing. So that's definitely an agent.
Okay. Okay, atmospheric. And you said comet was not really the thing. Atmospheric.
Ignore my shenanigans.
No. Don't. You don't have to talk. You're not allowed to talk, I would say. So atmospheric would also mean full of atmosphere, and not only something that what I thought was space. So something that would have atmosphere.
I will give no clues.
That is good. I would say that a violin would give a beautiful atmosphere to a place. That's something that I would really enjoy that. Not chips. Okay, I'm gonna say violin.
Violin is an innocent bystander.
Oh, I already hit 3 of your innocent bystanders. Wow.
It's the box is a funny thing because there's a thread in the Secret Cabal where they talk about you have to play Codenames with a bag on your head because you can't give away any of the clues. They're that strict about it. So there you go. That's a little nod out for you guys.
Yeah.
All right. So it's on to me.
Yeah, I need to give you a hint. And let me look at the board. I am saying noisy 2.
Noisy
2.
Well, a drum is definitely noisy. I think a nose could be noisy. A violin could be noisy. A tiger could be noisy. My computer sometimes can be noisy. I have to buy a new fan. Pigs can be noisy. Wow, there's a lot that can be noisy out there. But I think a drum, I'll go with drum for 1. Definitely.
A drum is an agent.
Excellent. The pickings are getting slim. Depends, though. You consider a violin noisy, or do you consider it... Well, you just said it was atmospheric, so... I like it. I'm going to go. It's the only thing out there that makes a lot of sound, other than a paddle hitting a small child. I'm going to go with violin.
And you would hit a innocent bystander.
My turn. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So now we have 6 rounds remaining. There are 6 agents remaining. Thank you, Gary, for updating that. He's working the magic behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. You're doing an excellent job. Kind of, sort of. All right. All right. So we are going to say Express 2.
Express 2. Wow. Express. What? That is interesting. I would not know anything on this list that would say Express. Well, a wagon, a train wagon would that's just too weird. Express. A letter. You can express yourself with a letter. So the violin is out for both of us, so that's done. Express. I think my first one is going to be letter. I'm touching letter.
Oh, that's a good choice. It's a good choice. That's an agent.
Oh, okay. So one more for express. Pig, stamp, wagon, tiger, computer, express, banana, pad, rainbow, sack, chip, bean. No, I'm sorry. And I had, no. Water is done. Atmospheric was, no. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, no, I don't dare do it. No.
Oh, now who's chicken?
Yeah, I know. I know. Terrible. I'm terrible. Okay, so now it's up to me to give a hint to you. So we've got that one, that one. It's okay to leave a little silence here, right?
Sure. We make Garrett edit everything anyway. It's fine.
But if you like me as a human being, say something.
I like you as a human being, so I will talk. I will talk, and I will say, Boxer 3.
Boxer 3. Ooh, yeah. That's tough. Okay, so let's see. Stamp no, wagon no, tiger. Mike Tyson is a boxer. He has a pet tiger, so I like that. Nose, definitely. Boxers get hit in the nose. Banana, pads. Let's see, they fight on pads. Sugar, I'm not getting anything. Rainbow, no. Sack. They could hit the sack if they want. Pig. I think that's more of a quality statement. Let's see. Chip, bean, no. Paddle, no. Let's go with nose first. We'll push the button on nose.
Nose is an agent.
Excellent. All right. And then, let's see, but would you know about Mike Tyson and the Tiger? I think so. I think you're definitely a fan of the Hangover. I think you would know that. So I'm going to go with Tiger for my second guess.
And the game would end right now.
No!
No!
No! No!
I did not think of Mike Tyson with Tiger. No.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Thanks,
No,
Gary.
we don't.
Thanks a lot.
Man.
And we're back after Gary's fine edit of that very awkward segment. All right. So
I'm gonna
let's see. So
I'm gonna guess some stuff now. The first one I'm gonna guess is that express is there's no one as well as expressing himself in the face mostly is Mr. Bean.
No, Mr. Bean is an assassin.
Oh, that would be worse. So okay, good that we're already dead.
Yes. The Express was Pony Express or the Express train. So you were right with wagon.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I said it. I didn't touch it, but I said it.
You were right on the right track.
Yeah.
Stylist.
And it's funny because
what was stylist?
Stylist was Dan Hughes magazine address. And I loved your idea of nose adding.
Dan was stylist?
Well, for me, I thought in my head he's just that's Dan for me. You don't know him like I know him.
Good.
I don't know if I want to.
We had a host. You were right with the Dan Hughes and anchor. And I thought there's a host in computer business as well. So computer was a word that you were supposed to guess. You mentioned it a couple of times, but you didn't. And a boxer for me was it was the nose. It was a sack, just hitting the sack. And the weird thing is, and noisy as well, stamp, stampede, stamp.
Stamp was noisy.
In Dutch.
Okay.
In Dutch, that is the word you would use when you put your foot on the floor and stamp on the floor. That's
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we'd say stomp or stamp. Yeah. No. The other one that you missed for me was atmospheric, which was rainbow. You were right. It was rainbow and comet.
Of course. Rainbow was so you did mean comet with atmospheric. I thought
yes.
Okay, I thought I was
more
thinking
stratospheric than
there.
atmospheric, but
you meant it when you said atmospheric. You wanted me to guess comet.
Yep, exactly. It was comet and rainbow.
Okay. A rainbow was the one that was an assassin for me, so I didn't want. Didn't want to hit that one.
Honestly, though, it worked. The game worked fine, and I still had two. You still had two. So
yeah. So rainbow, and then which one did I need to get?
You need to get rainbow and wagon. Did you cover them all? Yeah, rainbow.
Oh, wagon.
And wagon.
Oh, yeah, rainbow and wagon. Oh, wow. We did good at the beginning, but alas, it didn't. In the end, it was all for nothing.
Yeah, the only one I randomly picked cards. The only one I threw in there had to be Dan Hughes. I just had to do that.
Yep.
All right, well, Dave, we did not win code names, although, I think we were close. We almost had it. So close, so close. Thank you for playing. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed our interview and our time together. Thank you for staying up so late on your end of things. So if all of our people want to find you, they want to find out about this pandemic show, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Oh, yeah. Well, best to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That is always a smart thing to do at The Happy Luza. That's how I'm called all over the world. That's how I call myself, The Happy Luza. And you can reach me on Twitter at The Happy Luza. You can reach me on Facebook at The Happy Luza, and on YouTube, which is the best place to get those videos, because the videos I make, I try to make them more from the I want to make entertainment, not just information. Entertainment is what I'm going for. So if you want that as well, then maybe follow me on YouTube, The Happy Luza.
Absolutely. We are a huge fan of the as we are now calling it, the hashtag alternative board game media is definitely, what we want to do. We want to be something different. We don't want to just sit here and review games. We want to have a little fun. And Dave, you're one of the forerunners of that, and your channel always brightens me up when I see a fresh new post up there. So thanks for coming on. I knew I wanted to have you from the start, and I wish you well. So until next time,
thank you, sir.
We will see you when you game all night. Well, you hung out, and here it is, your top 5 countdown.
It's the top 5 countdown.
This week and every week, I ask people on Twitter and Facebook to use the hashtag GANTop5 to tell me the answers to a crazy question that just comes off the top of my head with no good reason. This week, I ask, what are the best insults to tell a board gamer? Coming in at number 5, do you have a phobia or are you just terrible? That comes from Ryan Moore on Facebook. Coming in at number 4 is go back to playing sorry. Comes from SportsGuy3125 on Twitter. Number 3.
Shut up, Wesley.
And that comes from Spike913. Number 2. You shithead. Spelled with the CH. And that comes from Jeff Mummy on Facebook. And the number 1 answer comes from Spam Sicola on Twitter. And it is, you couldn't teach tic-tac-toe without screwing it up. And there you have it, this week's Top 5 Countdown. Be sure to tune in next week to see what crazy things come out of my brain. Well, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed our efforts at comedy and fun, please support us on Podpledge. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, don't forget to engage with us on Board Game Geek Guild 3134. You can also check us out on our website, gameallnightshow.com. This show has been made possible through supporters like these. Angry Octopus.